So, your business probably outsources some of its work, right? Well, that means you're part of a hidden chain of data handling, and you might not even know it. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on that chain, talk about the risks under GDPR, and dive into this world of sub-processors that can seriously make or break your compliance.
Now this seems like a pretty simple question, but trust me, the answer has massive implications. The second you hand over data to a service provider, their entire supply chain legally becomes your responsibility. So let me ask you that again. Do you have any idea where your data really goes?
And that right there, that brings us to a really common but pretty dangerous blind spot in business today. We spend so much time vetting our direct vendors that we completely miss the whole network of other companies that they rely on to get the job done. Okay, so there's an official name for these hidden players in the game, a sub-processor. It's basically any company that your main vendor, your processor, hires to help handle the personal data that you've entrusted to them. Let me give you a super common example. Say you hire a payroll company. To do their job, they use a cloud service, maybe something like Amazon Web Services, to store all your employee data. Boom. In that moment, AWS becomes your sub-processor, and under GDPR, you are now on the hook for how they handle that data. This is exactly where we start to see this chain of risk forming. Every single link in that chain that you don't know about is a potential point of failure for data protection and, you guessed it, a direct liability for your business. So why does this matter so much? Well, the dangers are very real. For starters, you lose control over where your data is living. Then, huge compliance gaps can open up if one of those sub-processors doesn't meet GDPR standards. And if they have a data breach, the impact gets way bigger and the legal responsibility traces all the way back to you. And this all boils down to the absolute core principle of GDPR. You really need to let this one sink in. You can outsource the work, sure, but you can never, ever outsource the responsibility. The buck always, always stops with you, the data controller. Okay, so that's the problem. It sounds a little scary, right? But don't panic, it's not a hopeless situation. GDPR actually gives us a really clear rulebook for how to manage all of this. Let's break it down.
The good news here is that the law isn't designed to trip you up. It's actually designed to create a clear framework, a roadmap for accountability. So, let's walk through the most important steps right now. So here's your cheat sheet, your GDPR checklist. First, your main processor needs to get your written approval before they hire anyone else. Second, your data processing agreement has to flow down to them, which basically makes them legally bound by the exact same rules you are. You also need total transparency. That means a list of all sub-processors that's always up to date. From there, it's about making sure they have solid security, that they tell you immediately if there's a breach, and that they can help you if a customer asks for their data. This isn't just a list, it's your command center for control.
Think about it like a data journey. The data leaves you, the controller, and it goes to your processor. But when it takes that next step to a sub-processor, those GDPR safeguards, they absolutely have to travel with it. The level of protection can't get weaker just because it's further down the line.
Okay, so we know the rules, but knowing the rules and actually, putting them into practice are two different things. So let's get into the smart management playbook, the practical stuff you can do to stay in control.
These 5 practices right here, these are your keys to success. Keep a running list, a register, of every sub-processor. Do your homework on them before they ever touch your data. Make sure your contracts are absolutely ironclad. Check in on them with audits. And of course, always have a what-if plan ready to go. Let's just quickly break down the why behind this. Due diligence is all about finding security weaknesses before they become your problem. Clear contracts, that's about making sure there's zero confusion about who's responsible for what. And regular audits are your way of making sure that the promises they made on paper are actually happening in reality. Now here's the really cool part. When you do all of this right, something interesting happens. This whole process stops feeling like a legal headache, and it actually starts to look like a real business advantage.
And the payoff is real. I mean, look at this. When you manage your sub-processors the right way, you're not just dodging fines. You're actually building stronger security for your own company. You're creating more efficient partnerships, and, this is the big one, you are earning customer trust. And that is priceless.
It really is all about shifting your mindset. Do you see this as just another legal hurdle you have to jump over? Or is it a strategic advantage you can build? Is your supply chain just a source of risk? Or is it a well-managed network that actually gives you an edge over the competition? So here's the bottom line. When you actually take control of your entire data chain, you literally transform a potential massive weakness into a genuine strength. Being proactive here isn't just about playing defense. It's about building a smarter, stronger, and more trustworthy organization from the ground up. And that brings us to the final question, the one I want to leave you with. When you look at your own business, your own outsourcing partners, is your chain of accountability a hidden risk just waiting to blow up? Or is it a well-managed asset that actually makes your business stronger? The choice really is yours.